Card games can be some of the most challenging games to play, unless you're playing aggro, of course. So I've always wondered, how did good card game players get good? Before we get into any questions, I need you to go who you are, what you're really good at. What card game are you really good at?
I'm Azul GG, and I'm a competitive Pokemon TCG player.
Hi, I'm Magic the Noah. Can I start over?
I'm Mesa Falcon Guy, Covert Go Blue, and I play Best of One Standard on Magic the Gathering Arena, and they call me the one in Best of One because I'm just the absolute best at it.
My name is Josh, and I play Yu-Gi-Oh! That is the card game I'm supposedly very good at. I am a four-time YCS champion and last year's Master Duel World Champion.
Hi, I'm Magic the Noah. I used to do Magic the Gathering related games. I'm sorry, can I start over again?
My name is Frost Prime. I'm really good at League of Legends, better than Rarran.
That's not what the 1v1 said, dude.
Okay, the 1v1 doesn't matter. What was your peak rank? What's your peak rank?
Diamond 1.
Damn it, he's better than me. My name is Tristan, aka Frost Prime, and I'm better than Rarran at Slay the Spire.
I am McBanterface. I've been a professional Hearthstone player for 4 years now.
My name is Sunny, and I play Legends of Runeterra, and I'm one of the best players.
I'm Raynad.
Hi, my name is Voxy. I play Magic the Gathering, and I'm really good at it.
Okay, hi, I'm Magic the Noah. I used to do Magic the Gathering related content on my channel. Now I do more game show stuff, and I've always played a lot of card games throughout just growing up. And I'm probably slightly above the average Magic the Gathering player.
The thing about card games is everybody thinks they're good at them. I remember we had this early Hearthstone tournament, Seed Story Cup, and they had this poker table in the back, and whenever we weren't playing, everyone was at the poker game. And Gara walked up to all the players at the poker table one day and asked them how they're doing. And like 8 out of 8 said they're up. And so I don't know what that tells you about the psychology of card game players, but yeah. I played them, so yeah, I think I'm the best to ever do it.
The first question, why are you so lucky?
There's no such thing as luck, Rarran.
Because I put myself in a position to take advantage of the good variants when they come around.
I think that as a straight white man in society, I have had other things given to me that has increased my luck's stat in life.
You're not wrong.
Wait, was that a legitimate question?
Yeah, that's the first question.
Wait, was that oh god, oh shit. I thought that was a meme question.
Actually, on the contrary, I'm the unluckiest player alive, by far, even.
Wait, are you saying that I'm only good because I'm lucky?
I don't know why you're asking me that. I know you're a Hearthstone player. We don't have random effects in Runeterra, so when I say I'm good, that means I'm good.
I don't know. But sometimes I am.
Better lucky than good.
That didn't answer the question, but yeah, you're not wrong, I guess.
Define luck.
You want the Google definition of it?
Two great minds that I've seen talk with each other and discuss luck. Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson.
Oh, God.
I am extremely lucky, but it depends on exactly which kind of luck you're looking for. But I get to play video games for a living. I'm a lucky freaking person in general, but I am not lucky at Magic the Gathering and not in tournaments, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. If somebody out there knows how to get lucky in Magic the Gathering, I need a written guide. Is there a YouTube video I can watch? I will take it.
How would you say you got so good at card games?
By playing a lot.
Just repetition?
Yep.
Repetition.
Was there anything else that helped you get good at card games, or was that the only like?
What? No, really, I learn by doing. So, like, the more I play, the more I learn, I guess.
I mean, it sounds weird to say. I think if you're creating content for a game, even if you're not that good, eventually you'll just, like, get better at it because you play it so often for a stream. I feel like that happens pretty often with, like League of Legends streamers in a way, where it's like you don't even need to have, like, a wildly positive win rate, but just because you play so much, you eventually, like, play with better people slowly, and you get better that way. I think it's kind of the same for Runeterra, just playing a lot.
I've been doing it my entire life. Like I started very, very young. I've always been like kind of smart and stuff like that, but I've also always been kind of lazy. So like the thing that motivated me to spend a lot of time on it was Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, I could have maybe done it in other areas as well, but I just wasn't motivated to do well in those. But Yu-Gi-Oh was what did that for me. So I've just been playing it forever and like never stopped, kept grinding, and I think that's what did it for me.
I'm only gonna ask you this specific question because you kind of like brought it up. Why Yu-Gi-Oh specifically?
I could not tell you, to be honest. No, you laugh. I know why you laugh. Stop laughing right now.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're right.
I don't know why like 6-year-old me or 7-year-old me chose the game. I stuck with it, but I will say I have tried other games in between, and I also am good at other games. But I just like no other game just does it for me like Yu-Gi-Oh does.
Yeah, I just played a shit ton of Hearthstone, and I just like strategy games in general. So just play them on, and I just like planning things out and whatnot. Oh yeah, and then I started playing Magic. But that's the same gist. Sorry, I got kind of a crazy train of thought in my brain. Usually don't see it in the game shows, but this is just, yeah.
That was
By watching other content creators and absorbing all of their information like a sponge.
Now, would you say watching, is that like taking notes as well? Or is it actually just...
Hell no.
Hard work, perseverance, a lot of like early mornings, a lot of egg drinks like Rocky. Really, it was repetition. Anybody who knew me in middle school and high school will tell you that I spent every spare moment with Magic cards and a notebook, just writing out deck ideas and literally playing the game against myself, solitaring against myself. And I got mocked relentlessly, and who is laughing now? Shout out to the bullies in high school who I'm sure will watch this video.
That one, it started when I was a wee lad. When I was really young, I picked up Yu-Gi-Oh! A bit, back when it was not confusing and like normal. I picked up poker. My dad taught me to play it when I was pretty young, and so I spent a lot of time playing poker online. Not with real money, of course, because that would be wrong. But I was like 10 years old, so I would play like Facebook poker, and I spent a lot of time doing that. And I just got really into like the strategic aspect of it, and then that kind of transferred to Hearthstone, and here we are today.
Losing a lot, I guess. I got addicted to them one summer. I was visiting back a family in Ukraine for a summer, and my cousin brought 2 Magic decks with him, and we played these same 2 decks against each other all day, every day for like the entire summer. And as soon as I got back to the States, I wanted to get into the hobby, get some of my own cards, find some tournaments. So I did. I got obliterated. Absolutely obliterated. I played like a legacy tournament, the only one where my Sweet Soldiers deck was legal. There's a card when I was playing with my cousin in Ukraine for 2 mana and a red sorcery, deal 3 damage. I went to a card store in America and I saw Incinerate, 2 mana, 3 damage. It's like, oh my god, this is broken. I bought 4 of them, $1 a piece. And then I go to the tournament. I on the second turn I play my little soldier and he gets lightning bolted, Rarran. 1 mana, 3 damage. I shat myself. School of Hard Knocks. That's how I got good, Rarran.
Would you say that the credit card is the strongest card of all time?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
It is.
100%.
I mean, some people say like patches, but the credit card is probably a little bit stronger.
Actually, if you would have asked me what the most powerful card in all of Magic, I would have said like your MasterCard or your Visa.
I would say the biggest level up for me as a gamer came when American Express raised my credit limit substantially. Guys, if you're wondering why I care about your credit score, just think about the kind of gamer you want to be someday. Think about that mythic rank you want to reach.
I built my channel up disproving that theory, You just got to get good. I remember I did the first ever like free-to-play legend run in Hearthstone. Yeah, it took like 5 days, Get good, nerds.
If it has nothing to do with actually playing like the Pokemon TCG specifically and just real life stuff, it's pretty good.
The credit card is the strongest card because you can buy your way to the top. My counterpoint was, do you see the game that I play and that I'm the best at?
Not in Yu-Gi-Oh! At high levels, everyone has all the cards anyways. Like you couldn't it's not cheap to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but you're not getting an advantage.
How much attention do you pay to stats and third-party websites?
Honestly, I mostly look at them to see if there's like any cool decks that emerge. I don't really use it to like play the best cards or the best decks, but just to see like if there's any strategies that I can either use myself or prepare against.
I pay attention to everything that's going on in like online tournaments and like tournament results and anything else that's kind of out there. Basically, probably more than basically anyone else, or as much as anyone else possibly could do it. But in comparison to like what else I do, like what percentage does that make up of my preparation or just kind of being involved in the Pokemon TCG, I'm actually not sure.
And would you say that makes you like one of the best Pokemon players because you utilize it so much?
I mean, I think just having like a pretty statistical foundation in like how I operate is like what gives me an advantage over the players. I kind of don't let my emotions or feelings get too involved in my decision making.
Who?
You know, okay, but like for drafting specifically for Arena, right? There's not Arena. Is it? No, it's just called Draft in Magic Arena.
Oh yeah, there's something called like 17 lands or whatever, but I don't pay attention to any of that.
A lot, I would say, especially now. When it comes to Hearthstone right now, there's so much information available online, and it comes out like so fast now. Where after like a mini set drops, within a day, you have information about what's the best new deck and all this stuff, and how big Spell Mage is doing or whatever. So it's so readily available now, which is kind of different to how it used to be when I first started, which is kind of nice. I mean, there's pros and cons to it, but I definitely pay a lot of attention to it. Definitely find it very useful.
I don't know how recently you've been building decks for, but when you were like in your prime of Hearthstone, I would say, how much did you pay attention to stats and third-party websites?
What is this past tense, motherfucker? I've never lost a card game in my life, frankly. You can't prove I have. What was the question again? I got distracted.
I'm not aware that exists for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Really?
I mean, we do have like stats from tournaments, how well a certain deck did, but we don't have like, or at least to my knowledge, there's no like deck tracker or something for Master Duelers. Maybe it exists, but we're not like using it.
No, I don't think Slay the Spire has a lot of those, or at least not like good references to good stats. Like there was recently, I think it was a Chinese player that like broke some sort of streak or record or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. And they put like a post on Reddit of like their ranking of specific cards and like tier lists and things like that. And there were cards that I use in like 90% of my runs to get wins that they say are like D tier. And like,
interesting.
Yeah, I just think I think there's not a lot of factual hard line evidence, not just like, hey, I really like the use of this card. I really like the way that this card works.
Not really. It's more so what I want to play and just what I like. I'm like, oh, this looks cool. Let's do it.
Okay.
Or just like what's based off of the price and what's cheapest and what's best for that.
How much attention do you pay to stats and third-party websites when you're building a deck?
Oh, none at all. Dude, that shit is the most misleading thing in the world. Like, oh my God. The truth about card tournaments is like whoever's no-lifing that format 14 hours a day is going to have an edge. And then sometimes that guy happens to use data. And he tells himself it's giving him an edge, and he believes it's giving him an edge. But it's mostly a placebo effect thing. The thing is, if you actually sit down in a room, in a sweaty Pro Tour testing room, like children's card game degenerates are meant to, and you sit there with the best players in the world and you run a matchup head to head, you get real different numbers from the data when the deck is played right. Like, matchups are way swingier than people think. You look at the data, nothing's ever much more extreme than like 60-40. In reality, played optimally, there's a bunch of matchups that are 90-10. So I don't know. Basically, I think data is like placebo effect for a lot of people. I grew up in a pre-internet era, Rarran. Let me tell you, you're going to edit all this out because this is going to be way too long for your video. But let me tell you about how children's card games are meant to be played. All right, the internet ruined everything. It used to be that your deck was a custom expression of yourself. No internet, you had no fucking idea what cards were in the set. You had to own like a magazine from 3.5 years ago that you bought at a specific store to have like a list of the cards that are legal in a format. Like there's no information. You owned the cards that you owned on your street corner, and that's it. Everyone's deck was different, you know?
What percentage of losses did you attribute to bad luck or your opponent being Yu-Gi-Moto?
99.9%.
Well, all of them, obviously. I mean, I would never get outplayed, just like every other person who's ever lost. It's never actually your fault.
No more than anyone else.
Dude, that depends on how many of your opponents are Yu-Gi-Muto. Some days, none of your opponents are Yu-Gi-Muto. Some days, all of your opponents are Yu-Gi-Muto. I think that's one of the main skills is knowing when to do that. When to blame it on bad luck and when not to.
So do you have like a percentage? Like, would you say like 50% of your losses is just from bad RNG? It's probably less than that, I would imagine, from your perspective.
What do you mean less? If anything, it'd be more, right? Well, the better the player, the more often they lose to to just bad luck. Because if you're a good player, you only lose to bad luck. You never lose to other factors, right?
Oh, okay. So 100% of your losses is due to bad luck then, is what I'm understanding.
I mean, it's impossible for luck to not get involved, especially in a best of one format with a land system. I would like to think that if both players got to cast most of their spells, then at some point I probably could have done something different to win. But if either player like just cast significantly more spells than the other, then yeah, that was probably luck, and there probably wasn't a ton that you could do. So I don't know. I'm an 80-20 believer. I'll say 20% of my wins are, of course, skill, and 80% pure luck.
I've never made a mistake ever in my life. So if I've ever lost a game, it is solely due to the fact that I just didn't draw what I needed when I needed it. And that's just considered bad luck. So I would say, like, just whenever I lose.
Depends. Are we talking Hearthstone or are we talking Magic the Gathering or just in general?
You can do both if you have a different
for
answer.
Hearthstone, it's 100%. For Magic the Gathering, I would estimate around 70%.
Why a lower percentage of Magic?
There's always going to be some percentage of games or, you know, hands or whatever that you can't win. That is part of it being a card game. I think some people kind of struggle with that and they feel offended when they lose, but it is important to know that you cannot win every single game. That doesn't mean you should always blame bad luck, even though some people might do that anyway, but it is a good thing to know that you cannot win every game.
Does bad luck include Twitch chat being obnoxious?
Like, and you're being distracted?
Well, it's the luck of who had off work that day to come in and spend their money in my stream.
All right, so then yeah, I guess it does attribute to your losses if you want to add it.
Okay, yeah, then 100%.
We went over this, Rarran. There's no such thing as luck. Let me tell you about this thing called luck, right? There's this guy called Percy Diaconus Draconius. Some guy that sounds like a fucking Harry Potter spell. But this is like a mathematician, and he dug into this idea of what is luck, right? And here's like a thought experiment. He builds this little machine, and it flips a coin. That's all it does. And you push a button, and it flips a coin the exact same way every single time, with the exact same amount of force, at the same angle. And every time, the coin lands the same way. All right, see, the coin itself, the coin flip itself, doesn't have any inherent 50-50 property. The 50-50 randomness is like in our head. It's like the uncertainty from our perspective, and we call that luck.
So you're saying if I get discovered fireball and I lose, I didn't get high rolled?
I'm saying that with that seed value, you get high rolled in every dimension and every timeline.
Oh, I see. You're saying it like a Slay the Spire seed where it's like already figured out by the time you get there.
Yes, and that's what like everything that happens is like. So it's like not technically random, it's like seeded, but yeah, it's...
So, in other words, by the time you queued up the game, it was already lost because they were going to discover it every single time.
Exactly, dude. You misplayed the second you opened Hearthstone. It took me a decade to get out of that habit.
What is your favorite part, and which one would you consider harder, playing or deck building?
Deck building.
Why?
It's paying attention to like the signs, and you have to know when to like splash for certain things. Like it's really weirdly hard to build a deck on the fly, I would say, with like a limited card pool.
So you think you're better than people who play like normal formats like standard, or the main format, I should say.
What is this f***ing Mean Girls? Do you agree? You think you're really pretty? I didn't say any of that. What do you mean?
The ceiling in the actual play of card games isn't actually that high in comparison to something like chess. So you have to try and find other ways to gain an advantage, and that's where deck building gets involved. And being able to be one step or two steps ahead of the competition is that's where like the extra preparation, that's where a lot more preparation should go into, is like the actual deck building and like deck choice. Like pick what kind of archetype of decks do you want to play. The newer you are to the game, your play is going to have a bigger impact, but the better you get at the game, your actual preparation and understanding of matchups and like your deck building and the tech cards you choose to bring makes the bigger difference.
Oh, okay, so you're saying like the higher rank you go, the more you would put towards deck building being the toughest thing.
Yeah, to having like it having a bigger impact on your success.
Interesting. That's a cool perspective. Okay.
My favorite part is definitely playing. I've never been a huge deck builder. It's kind of just never really been super interesting to me. I like playing with the cards. As far as which one's harder, I mean, for me, it would be deck building.
Yeah, deck building.
You want to elaborate on that, or?
Not particularly, but if I have to, yeah, I will.
Okay, yeah, could you just do it for the video?
Yeah, basically, I feel like a lot of time, and this depends on what deck you're playing and what the matchup is. One of the jokes of professional Hearthstone, and I'm sorry to shit on your game. I've been shit on Hearthstone a lot. I'm sorry. Watching professional Hearthstone's like the most brain dead thing you can do. You will watch a person, they'll have like 2 possible moves they can do, and one of them is blatantly obviously the better one. The other one sucks, and you'd never ever do it. And then you'll watch this person max out the turn timer thinking, oh man, I don't know, should I? And they'll hold the card above the screen, they'll do a different one above the screen, they'll just keep doing it over and over again. You see the rope going around, and you're like, oh my god, can play something. And then it just makes no sense. I have to buy a new webcam. And then they finally play the card, and you're just sweating like, oh my god. I don't even remember what the initial question is. I'm going off on my own tangent here.
I like playing better. Deck building is its own art form. Making a great deck, once you've kind of figured out the fundamentals and things like that, anybody can make a deck. Making a great deck is very, very hard.
Yeah, I would agree.
Very, very hard. Still, I think that there's nothing harder than playing well in the face of adversity. Like when the RNG is going against you, when your day is going terrible, and you're still dialed in enough to make the right reads, play to the 0.1% out, and give yourself every opportunity. I don't think there's anything harder than that. I can't do it. On my best day, I do it sometimes.
So on that tangent right there, you would say Hearthstone's the hardest card game.
It's possible. I mean, no, you're just trying to get me in a thumbnail now. It's possible. I don't understand everything about playing Hearthstone. I haven't played enough of it. But yeah, like when you're discovering cards at random from outside the game and using RNG effects that could make literally thousands of possibilities happen, playing it perfectly probably involves the brain of a supercomputer. And yeah, I would say that's got to be almost impossible.
I'm gonna have that ready, that clip ready for anyone who says Hearthstone doesn't take any skill.
Oh, my favorite part is definitely deck building, and I think playing is harder because like you can get really excited during deck building, build like the coolest deck ever, and then you take it to ladder and you just get stomped by Druid number 1000. So that's kind of it.
Isn't that mean that deck building's worse or harder because then you just built a bad deck? It's not really your play pattern if you get destroyed by Druid.
No, I think I built the best deck ever. I just think that like Riot does a really poor job at balancing, and they should make my deck stronger.
Oh, fair. Okay.
Deck building is harder. Playing is my favorite.
Why do you think deck building is harder?
Because I don't know if this is true for all other games. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, some games, the way you build your deck decides how the game goes. Because you would know this, that some Yu-Gi-Oh games end relatively quickly.
Yes.
Not all of them, but sometimes it really is just a matter of if you haven't drawn the hand that lets you compete with your opponent's hand, then you're out of there real quick. And in order to draw those hands, you need to build your deck accordingly.
With the way that Slay the Spire is formatted, a lot of your turns are very linear. Like a lot of your turns are singular options, especially in like the first half of every run, right? Like you draw 5 cards. None of those cards are going to draw any more cards or like interact with your deck in any way. So you have one option of what to do. And so I think that a lot of the play comes from the deck building aspect. So I think that the deck building aspect is far more difficult because it interacts so much more in my game versus a standard card game that it's like you can fucking net deck in any of those other games. Like you literally can just go to sleep for the first day of any expansion and then wake up the next day and the 7 best decks for the rest of the expansion are already out.
Oh, dude, deck building is my favorite part of card games. It's my absolute favorite part. And the craziest thing to me is that for most people, that's not the case. I bet you with content creators, it's like a higher percentage of them that like deck building because they're like creators. But card games don't really reward it. Card games in this pre-internet era, I keep harping on how internet ruined it. This is the biggest way it ruined it. It ruined deck building. Because it used to be everyone's deck was different, and so the meta couldn't get homogenized. There's nothing to net deck. And so mimicry is actually what gets rewarded, not creativity. Deck building, it's only kind of good that first tournament you bring it to. Then everyone has the tech, you know? That's kind of the beauty of it. So I love deck building. I love that Magic has that property. The card games have that property. You can keep like, I don't know, just there's always like another level of in the arms race in tech. Yeah, that's a big part of what drove me to build the Bazaar is I wanted to make a card game that rewards creativity instead of mimicry. A card game that's all about the deck building. Deck building is definitely harder than playing. Deck building is a really hard thing to teach. It's a creative endeavor. What's so cool about card games is that a card is like a game piece that can do anything imaginable. Like, Magic is basically like wizard chess, and anything that a wizard can do could happen in the game, like canonically. It's like there's mechanics for throwing fireballs, summoning giant creatures, necromancy, whatever you can imagine. And a card unit can do any of those things. And yeah, I don't know. You can try all sorts of strategies. It's very Darwinian. You can go into a tournament trying to just farm the overpopulated deck. You can try to have some niche strategy. I don't know, it's a lot like a Darwinian ecosystem kind of thing.
What is one piece of advice you would give to someone who wants to get better at card games?
Watch my YouTube channel.
Play a lot.
Yeah, it's a very common question that I get a lot. It's just like it's hard to say, but I think you just gotta love what you're doing. I think that's the main thing, because it's a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of time, and you're only gonna be able to do it if you just enjoy the ride and love what you're doing, even when you're not winning yet, or not winning as often as you'd like yet.
I'm speaking solely for draft, right? And for limited, it's like watching other people. So like, can I cuss? Yeah, watching other people fuck up so you don't have to. And I would say try to do every pre-release. Pre-release is the ultimate like floor of everybody's on the same level when it comes to skill, because the cards are brand new. No one's ever played with them before. And yeah, I would say attend pre-releases.
Probably just to watch people that are better than you. I mean, that was how I initially got, better at Hearthstone. Like, I didn't magically become one of the best players in the world. I had to kind of quote unquote study it a lot. I watched people streaming on Twitch. That was when I got like really good at it.
Watch content creators.
Do you have a preference for YouTube or Twitch?
Twitch. A lot of content creators, they're posting their good runs. They're posting the runs that, regardless of whether they win or lose, like they're posting the runs that have some sort of pizzazz, some sort of thing that they can drop in an interesting clickbait. So like, don't get me wrong, there's still things you can learn from that. But when you go to a stream and you watch Rarran lose 8 games in a row, and it's like embarrassing and his entire chat's laughing at him, like you get to learn so much more in that. No, I mean, legitimately, like you get to learn like so much more, I think, from watching the wins and the losses versus just like the hot runs, the hot streaks.
Listen, as a person who's slightly above average and doesn't know half of what the they're talking about in regards to the other people who have come on here, except for the person who said Hearthstone was a hard game to play. That guy's just wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. If you ask me how to make a commander deck, I don't know how to get good. I just play the game and I get good at it and I realize a thing here or there. Who is the person who said Hearthstone was hard? That person's wrong.
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not just for their safety. I'm not gonna tell you.
I'm gonna watch the video and I'm gonna find their IP address. It's all good.
This isn't just for card games, but definitely for card games. But in terms of learning anything that's really important to you, I recommend full immersion. I recommend trying to take every spare minute out of your day, lump as many of them into a row as possible so that you can do nothing but live in this world for a period of time every day. If you can somehow change your morning routine and when you get your work done and when you watch your TV shows at night, if you can move those things around so that there is a 4 or 5 hour block that you can do nothing but immerse yourself in this thing you want to get good at and work on this skill, that will stick far better than I've got 10 spare minutes on my lunch break and I'm going to play a game on my phone.
If you had to give one piece of advice to someone who wants to get better at card games, what would you say?
Don't. I'm the cautionary tale, my friend. Learn from my mistakes, young man.
Okay, and one last question for you before you go. Am I getting more girls if I'm the highest rank in a card game?
Yes, absolutely.
I think the answer is yes, but like in comparison to where you'd be if you were a lower rank in a card game, it's probably not like a huge difference.
Yeah. My fiance messaged me after I won a tournament.
Is that real? Please tell me.
Yeah, that's real.
Yes, for sure. For sure. It already happens to games like League of Legends. It's only a matter of time until it happens to card gamers too.
Oh, you just think our time hasn't come. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but I know it's gonna come. I know it's like close, but yes, not. Maybe that's just a me thing though. I don't know.
So.
Oh, it's a bee. Hey, friend.
Are you outside again? I thought I heard something.
Yeah, it's my mom's patio. Yeah.
Nice.
This is exactly where you'll be living if you pursue the world of children's card games as a career. I went from trading card game competition to game development. I may never have sex again, Rarran.
I would recommend getting better at YouTube before getting better at card games. It is proven like girls want mid to above level status is something that they find incredibly attractive, and the risk of getting into card games to get girls is that you will end up broke with no social skills, which is literally the exact opposite direction of what they want. So you've got to somehow move it in the right direction, and I think getting good at being a YouTuber forces you into the other direction.
Okay. So basically, just to answer the question is no. If I get good at card games, my chances will not go up.
If it's just card games, no. No. God, you'll get worse.
Would you agree that I am the best at Slay the Spire?
In this call, yes.
Sweet. I currently have a fiance. Okay, that's one.
Okay.
My fiance and I are currently seeing another girl.
Oh shit.
So technically, I have two, and that's more than most.
Slay the Spire is the way to go. Let's fucking go.
Girls love card games. If you go up to a bar, you walk up to a girl and say, hey, sorry, I got nervous. What was the question?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, listen, you can't just walk up and be like, oh, I'm rank 2. You know, nobody cares, right? You got to be the best. That'll definitely help.
So you're saying that like you haven't got any girls yet because you haven't won, but once you win, you'll be like absolutely flooded.
That's actually exactly what's happening. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty likely to qualify for this year, so I'll give you an update at the end of the year.
Okay. All right. One last question. Am I getting girls if I'm the highest rank in my card game? Wait, why are you laughing? Hello?